this ayat begins with Yasalunak, they ask you. So there's about 14 places that Ibn Abbas mentions also in his riwayat, where they ask, the Sahaba ask questions and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them directly the answers to those questions. So they ask about the ahillah, they ask about these, what is the reality behind that, or what is the wisdom behind those ahillah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers, they are mawaqitu linnas. They are the means by which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a system, a structure for people to gauge the time, so that they will know when to begin their various types of worship that are connected to particular times, as well as their transactional, obligations. For example, you have said, I'll pay you in 1 month, or I'll pay you in such and such time. So just think about this for a moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, these bodies in the heavens. And how huge are they, and how magnanimous are they? They're orbiting, and the size of those planets and all that. And those planets have been created for who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need any of those. They're for us. So He's created a system in the universe to show us how to, and very simply, so that every human being, as I've mentioned more than once, whether he is an astrophysicist or whether he is a Bedouin from the desert, everybody, it's the same for everybody. It's easy for everybody to plan their schedules, which are connected to particular dates. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So on the one hand, it's a facility for us. At the other, we need to reflect that, see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His qudrat has made such a magnanimous system. So we don't need watches and calendars and all those things. Actually, those systems which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made naturally for us are quite sufficient. In any case, so these the deciding the new moons and the rotation of the moon and the sun, and all of these, it's for the sake of, the particular injunctions and particular commitments of human beings which are connected to time. What Hajj, and particularly Hajj, and similarly to Hajj, obviously because it falls on a particular date. Similarly, this month of Ramadan. So anything which is connected to a date, whether it be religiously, directly or purely religiously or otherwise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created that whole system for that. وَلَيْسَ الْبِرُّ بِأَنْ تَأْتُوا الْبُيُوتَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهَا وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ مِنِ التَّقْوَى. Now this also alludes to another practice of the Arabs, which alludes to another basic principle, and that is that we don't, make religion out of our own heads, which is what the Arabs actually did. What they had this custom that if a person was in the state of ihram, then it's not permissible for him to enter his house from the front door. Why? You'd have to ask them. So what they used to do, they used to go from the back side of their house, and if their back side of their house didn't have a door, they would make a hole in it just so they would, be able to put this into implementation. So not only it is something out of their heads and has nothing to do with religion, you can see that what happens when people start making religion with their own, intellect, it causes all types of, difficulties and problems rather than being a facility to make life easier for people, which is what religion is supposed to do. So, goodness is not, entering houses from the front or the back or anything. Piety is following the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Piety is observing the etiquettes and the injunctions of taqwa, which is to do the order and remain aloof from the prohibition. مَنِ اتَّقَى وَاتُّبِيُوتَ مِنْ أَبْوَابِهَا. And so approach houses from their correct doors. So specifically this particular issue, but also it becomes, as we call a mithal, it's a parable, that you enter things in their proper entrance, or you approach issues from their proper place of approach. And again, the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to observe taqwa, so that perhaps we will succeed. And perhaps, again, as I've mentioned more than once, the perhaps is not from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the perhaps is from us. If we do it, if perhaps we put into effect taqwa, then definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring us to success. ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Brothers,
barakatuh.
inshallah, we're going to have a sighting of the moon because many massages have the fixed calendar. So, Imam has made it very clear. So we do that every year. So inshallah, be aware of it. You can come at the Maghrib and we'll try to walk sight the moon from here. But there's a committee which look at it and they make a decision. And inshallah, we'll start the Taraweeh tonight or maybe tomorrow. And mashallah, there's a lot of people want to come. The house is full, like the people have registered. And so, inshallah, happy Ramadan to all of you. And we're just going to make sure that we follow the sighting of the moon. Inshallah.
Just keep in tune with the app, inshallah, and that announcement will come as soon as it's required, inshallah. Subhanakallah bihamdika.